Now. Woo! After Kevin Durant chose to join the Brooklyn Nets, Ramona reported that the Knicks, in fact, did not offer Kevin Durant the full max. Stephen A. Smith's head exploded. So what happens now for the Knicks after striking out on their top free agent target? We are welcoming in Bobby Marks to the group. Now, Bobby, I don't know if you have your crystal ball, but please play along with us a little bit. What happens now for the Knicks? Because we've seen that they've signed Julius Randle. And we've heard Ramona tell us they're interested in Bobby Portis and Reggie Bullock.
Well, I think you're going to see probably the same contract that we saw with Julius Randle, probably a 3-year, $60 million plus. Probably the third year will be, non-guaranteed, or maybe with Portis, a 2-year, $40 million contract, somewhere in the range. Remember, they've got to spend 90% of the $109 million salary cap. Right, so we got to get up to $98 million somehow here, or they can just divvy that money amongst their own players. So I think you're going to look at short-term contracts, 2-year contracts, and then preserve flexibility going into the summer of 2021. But it's all about rebuilding in New York. I mean, this is a massive rebuild right now that they're going to have to go through.
Your friend of mine, Adrian Wojnarowski, just tweeting that Taj Gibson is going to be signing with the Knicks. 2 years, $20 million. What do you think of them adding the veteran there?
Well, I think it's, you have a young locker room with R.J. Barrett and Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, Dennis Smith Jr. I think where Taj is probably at this stage of his career, I think he can still contribute, but I think it's probably more of a mentorship role here. And I think those are the type of moves that they are going to need to do here. When you're probably paying a little bit of an overpay, but as I said, you've got the cap space to go out and do it, and you'll have flexibility going forward.
Yep. That's spoken like a man who's been in that position.
I'm trying to spin it, Rachel. I'm trying to spin it.
That's not excited to report it. I just feel bad. He's just like, here we go.
Poor Bobby. Bobby, thank you so much. I hate to break it to you. The night is still not over. Still update.
I think we've got some big ones coming, so stay tuned.
Yes. Still not over. Do you think that we'll get Kawhi Leonard news by the end of this evening, or do you think that's going to extend into tomorrow?
I think it will extend even into this week here.
Excellent. All right. From the man who would know, thank you so much, Bobby, for joining us. Ramona, you wanted to add to that Knicks report.
Well, I think when you look at the Knicks, as you're going through a rebuild, you have two choices. You can go young and build through the draft and then add key veterans along the way, draft and develop. And then sometimes you can short-circuit the process and add a key free agent. The Lakers and the Knicks actually embarked on the process in about the same time in the exact same way, building through the draft. And then the Lakers decided to go the exact opposite way.
Right.
They got LeBron James 1 year and then traded the entire young core to get Anthony Davis a week ago. The Knicks have to go through the same rebuild that everyone else in this league has to go through, because it looks like they position themselves as superstars and they are not getting them.
I want to bring in some fresh voices on this. Matt Barnes back with us at the table, but I also want to welcome in Janae Agumake. By the way, little shouts here, because you are joining us from across the street where she just played a professional basketball game where the Sparks won, by the way, and 10 points, 7 rebounds, and now...
Didn't know that.
Right? Not only dressed fresh to impress.
Hey, we can do both.
Right.
Ready to come.
That's right. Thanks for having me.
Get you a woman who can do both. And this woman can definitely do both. We've heard from Matt and Ramona about the Knicks. I haven't heard yet what your take is on not only them seeing Kevin Durant go to Brooklyn across the river, as Stephen A. wept over, but the idea that they came out and said, well, we didn't want him anyway. We didn't offer him max anyway.
You know, it's really funny because I'm the bad type of player that actually checked my phone at halftime during the game, just because I knew this was a big day. And so he didn't know, but now he knows. Sorry, coach, my fault. But if you think about it, like after the game, Candace Parker was like, oh my gosh, KD to the Nets. I'm like, girl, I figured it out at halftime. But it's just interesting because you think about like the rat race for signing a big free agent, and they came up short. But when you come up short in that, you don't want to jeopardize or settle. I think you have to continue to build through the draft. You have to trust the process. I think R.J. Barrett was a great pickup for them. Kevin Knox is still going to be a star in this league. So you have to trust that, okay, maybe the big names did not come now, but maybe you position yourself like the Lakers did to attract one, and then you have a good arsenal of young talent. Right, Matt?
I'm just asking for Knicks fans, like, how long is the process? How long is the rebuild? Like, what is really going on?
But you have to make intelligent decisions.
You're right. Well, I just thought this was supposed to be the big year for the Knicks. I mean, early on,
you know who told you that? Jim Dolan told you that on the radio.
No, I don't listen to him. all signs were pointing to, KD and Kyrie going to the Knicks. And to me,
and getting the number one pick.
And getting Zion, it was just a year. I mean, this summer was supposed to be an amazing summer for not only the organization, but the fan base that desperately needs something to cheer about. And they just continue to strike out. And I just know fans. I looked on Twitter, I'm on a little break, and Knicks fans are, we're so glad you said that. Right. Thank you. We don't know what we're doing over here. And it's heartbreaking because those are such avid basketball hungry, and the knowledge of those fans is second to none. And for them to continue year after year to just be like, we almost had so-and-so.
This is exactly what Matt is talking about. Here's what Knicks fans thought maybe at one point they could have.
Oh, gosh.
And here's what Knicks fans are shaping up to have. And again,
and two of those are like a few miles apart.
Right?
That hurts.
That's a lot. I mean, look, we're not going to spend the whole show on this, but people are sad in the Big Apple. I do want to hit real quick because it just crossed my phone. Chris Haynes from Yahoo reporting that Kawhi Leonard will not take any meetings with any teams today, but that he will ramp up the process over the next couple of days, which is what Chris is reporting. Now, Ramona has already reported that Magic, who is not officially part of the Lakers contingent, has spoken to Kawhi as recently as this weekend. So they've had a side almost meeting, or a meeting, but that isn't officially part of a meeting that isn't a meeting, but it is a meeting, but it's not a meeting.
I stopped following. Yeah, that's like the game at the Dodger game with the hats and the ball, and you got to follow. Yeah, I don't know.
They made that like 3D now.
Yeah, I can't even do it.
No, it's tricky.
At that point, it's too hard. I just
go ahead.
Guess. A lot of people have been talking to Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
And what's incredible, and this is a statement that I've heard from around the league, from teams, owners, front offices over the last few days, is how much the timing plays into this, how much the entire league swings on the decisions of free agents like Kawhi Leonard, like Kevin Durant, and even a day that goes by, not even a day, an hour that goes by, 2 hours that go by.
I mean, we're 4 hours in, but
can close off opportunities for teams to go to plan B, plan C, plan D. But for a player as special as Kawhi Leonard, you have to wait.
Right.
Yeah.
You simply do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think fans may, with the way Magic exited and decisions he made, whether you liked it or not, one thing you know about Magic, he can definitely sell the Lakers.
Man.
So him being able to get a side meeting Kawhi, I think only bodes well, and I think he's probably the Lakers to lose.
Yeah, I agree. And if you think about Kawhi Leonard, you can't really say anything of his journey has been predictable. So the fact that, okay, we might wait until tomorrow, the day after, the day next, not predictable.
Yeah.
I said he's the one superstar that can really detach his emotions. He went to Toronto to do a job. He did the job, brought them their first championship, and I can really see him either, if he goes back to signing a 1 or 2 year deal to possibly defend his title, but if not, I can see him like, hey, I did what I had to do, and I'm gone, and I can see no problem with him doing that.
I think your point about Magic is so good, because if anyone has been lucky enough to be in a room with Magic Johnson,
he can sell you anything.
Selling,
he can sell you anything.
It is such an experience. I co-hosted an event with him where he was speaking in front of a group of about 40, 50 people. I swear to God, every single one of those 50 people thought that he was only speaking to them.
Absolutely.
I have never seen anything like that. And look, I mean, there's only more to come from the Lakers. Kawhi is a guy who, as we have said, controls the pace of the game in a way that doesn't, we see him, plays at his own pace.
Both ends.
Right? In a way that we don't see with other players, and he is controlling the pace of these negotiations. I want to read you one more thing we're getting from Twitter, from our own Tim Bontemps, saying that the Knicks have released a statement from team president Steve Mills about missing out on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I'm going to read it off of Ramona's phone. Here we go. While we understand that some Knicks fans, they didn't put Stephen A's name in the statement, but they could have.
It was for him.
Some Knicks fans could be disappointed with tonight's news. We continue to be upbeat and confident in our plans to rebuild the Knicks to compete for future championships through both the draft and targeted free agents.
Glass half full.
There you go, Knicks fans. There you go.
Knicks fans don't believe that. they don't. I'm saying they don't believe that.
Right. Well, there you go. I do want to move on, though, to the player that Knicks fans were told was the salvation, right? That was the unicorn, the guy who is going to deliver them to the next step. Well, he has just agreed to a 5-year, $158 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks. This according to sources from Tim McMahon and the New York Times. Dallas committing max money as expected to Porzingis. You trade for him. You knew you were going to make this deal. Pairs him with Luka Doncic for the foreseeable future. We're going to go back.